Your constant presence is making you invisible. The more accessible you are, the less they value you. Carl Jung understood it. Power lies in scarcity. Today, you're going to discover why disappearing strategically can change everything. Stay until the end to understand how to turn your silence into respect. Your exhaustion isn't physical, it's an existential weariness that can't be seen but is felt in every automatic gesture, every forced reply, every moment in which you gave away your time out of reflex, not choice. It's not the work, it's not the tasks, it's not external conflicts. It's the constant erosion of your energy caused by total accessibility and unfiltered exposure that has diluted who you are. You're always present for everyone and absent from yourself. What they call being a good person has turned you into a free resource. You've been trained to respond quickly, to prove that you're here, that you matter, that you're useful. But behind that false kindness lies a brutal trap. Every time you're too available, your presence loses value. What is abundant is ignored. What's within everyone's reach stops being desired. Over-accessibility doesn't just drain you, it makes you invisible, and the more you try to please, the more you erase yourself. The paradox is clear. The more you give, the less you receive. Your need for acceptance has created an endless debt that never gets paid. You keep giving, but nothing comes back. Relationships that only exist because you hold them up. Connections that depend entirely on your unilateral effort. That isn't love, it's structural dependency. And the worst part is that you learn to normalize it, to call it commitment, to disguise it as empathy. Most people aren't with you. They're with your energy, with your availability, with how easy it is to reach you. And the day you set a boundary, the day you say no, you'll see how many disappear. Because they're not interested in you, they're interested in what you give. And that's not connection. It's emotional consumption. Distance creates respect. Silence builds presence. Your absence, if measured well, carries more weight than 1,000 words. Stopping yourself from being available to everyone doesn't make you insensitive. It makes you conscious. The world doesn't need more emotional martyrs. It needs individuals who guard their peace the same way one defends sacred territory. Being accessible isn't a virtue if it destroys your integrity. Every time you respond without wanting to, every time you say yes against your will, you're denying yourself. And with that systematic denial, you dim your own light. You become a shadow. You dissolve into the noise. The system loves that. Functional bodies, sleeping souls, useful people who don't take up space. And while you fulfill everything, they forget you easily, protecting your energy and a whim. It's a necessity. Every time you give up your right to disappear, you hand the world control over your inner state. And there is no deeper freedom than withdrawing without guilt, without explanations, without fear of losing. The system you live in wants you visible, available, obedient. But your true power begins when you choose to withdraw strategically, when you stop reacting out of habit and start choosing from your center. Carl Jung knew it. The psyche needs silence to repair itself. But we live in constant noise, pressure, social media, opinions, stimuli, and in the middle of that bombardment, you became an emotional help desk open 24 hours a day. You vanished into every notification, every expectation, every I have to be there. But you don't have to be there. You have to choose where and for whom. Because if everyone has access to you, no one values you. Emotional autonomy begins when you accept that you don't owe anyone an immediate response, that your time is limited, that your energy runs out, that your peace is non-negotiable. In that awareness, a radical transformation begins. You no longer give as a reaction. Now you choose. Now you filter. Now you decide that your attention is not free, that your presence carries weight, that your silence is a statement. Those who learn self-respect don't seek approval. They don't ask permission to prioritize themselves. They don't need to be everywhere to feel included, because they've understood that respect doesn't come from exposure, it comes from mystery. What is reserved creates impact. What is scarce becomes valuable. You don't need to speak all the time. You only need to show up when you truly have something to offer. That's the key, becoming someone who chooses when to be present, your silence reveals more than 1,000 explanations, and your absence, if it's coherent, becomes an act of power. That's when natural cleansing begins. Those who were there only out of interest disappear. Those who valued your essence remain. You didn't have to say anything. You didn't have to argue. You simply changed your frequency, and everything reorganized itself. Self-control is not rigidity. It's sovereignty. It's choosing not to respond to impulse. It's knowing when to save energy. It's becoming the guardian of your center while the world shouts, demands, and pulls at you. And in that voluntary silence, a strength is born that doesn't depend on others. Something that cannot be bought emerges. Self-respect. Your energy is limited, and every time you waste it on empty relationships, artificial obligations, or validations that evaporate, you're mortgaging yourself. You're financing a lifestyle that isn't yours, but constantly demands presence, speed, reaction. That imposed rhythm is draining you. And the worst part is that you think you're doing the right thing, that you're progressing, but you're only running in circles inside an invisible cage. When you decide to step back, the world feels disoriented, not because it misses you, but because it no longer controls you. A well-placed absence has a brutal effect. It reveals intentions, filters connections, exposes masks. You no longer need confrontations. You only need silence. That silence becomes a mirror, and what it reflects is clear. Who stays when you give nothing? Who disappears when you're not available? You are not here to carry everything. You are not here to be everyone's emotional shock absorber. You are here to rebuild yourself, to protect what is sacred in you, your time, your focus, your rhythm. Because what they call productivity is often just an elegant form of self-exploitation. They push you to be useful, efficient, present. But being useful to everyone is being non-existent to yourself. True respect is not demanded. It's cultivated through authentic scarcity. When your presence stops being automatic and becomes deliberate, your value changes. Your identity changes. Your entire life shifts in another direction. It's no longer about being everywhere. It's about leaving an imprint when you appear. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less, but with intention, with truth. The system doesn't know what to do with someone who doesn't respond to noise, who moves with sovereignty, who doesn't enter the game of urgency. That person becomes an anomaly, and because of that, magnetic, because they represent what many desire but don't dare to pursue. The freedom to say no, to disappear without guilt, to guard their energy as a non-negotiable treasure. When your energy becomes scarce, it becomes powerful, not as a show, not as an empty strategy, but because you stop giving it away to every stimulus, because you choose, with brutal honesty, where your attention goes. And then something irreversible begins. The world starts treating you according to the value you give yourself. You are no longer an open channel. You are a presence with weight, a center that doesn't react, a space that cannot be invaded, that is real influence, not the kind that screams, but the kind that doesn't need noise. Not the one that runs after everyone, but the one that makes the world stop when it appears. And that you achieve only when you understand that silence is not a lack, it's a decision, a boundary, a weapon, a legacy. Your energy is your greatest treasure. Don't give it away. If this video resonated with you, subscribe, activate the bell, share your experience in the comments, and spread the message. Watch our other videos and get ready to keep awakening with more content like this.